Hello everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of StudyIQ IAS English. And in today's video and this session, we'll be discussing about the challenges that Amaravati faces. Amaravati, that is the capital of Andhra Pradesh. So we'll be talking about this in this complete video along with me. My name is Bhanwarsingh. I'm ex-NDA 115th course and qualified civil services in 2012. Now, when it comes to the background of the issue, so it was that the Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated in 2014. And ultimately, at that point of time, Hyderabad, it was decided that Hyderabad will be the joint capital of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh for the next 10 years. And the deadline was 2024. Later on, Chandrababu Naidu, who was the chief minister at that point of time, he announced that Amaravati will be the new capital of Andhra Pradesh and it will be located on the river banks of River Krishna. There were about 33,000 acres of the land that was, demarcated for development of Amaravati that was taken via land pooling scheme, and it is the complete capital city had been designed by leader designers. We have the architectural firms that are there, leading architectural firms like, for example, Foster and Partners. Then we have Surbana, Jurong and Maki and Associates. But at the same time, this complete project, it was halted. Now, it was halted because of the political disruption that were there between 2019 to 2024. And it was at this point of time in 2019, YSR Congress Party won the elections, and over here, Jagan had proposed that there will be three capitals of Andhra Pradesh. Now, these three capitals which were proposed were that the Amaravati will remain the legislative capital, there would be an executive capital at Vizag, and a judicial capital that will be developed at Kurnool. Alright, over here the construction of Amaravati had been halted, and ultimately the farmers which had given their lands via the land pool system or the LPS, they were agitated and they started over the agitations were marked during this period of time when the YSR Congress Party was ruling in the state. At the same time, in 2021, the Andhra Pradesh High Court reversed the decision, and in 2024, Chandrababu Naidu, he again became the chief minister, and ultimately the single capital vision had been restored when it comes to the Amaravati. Now, over here, if we'll talk about the legislative milestones which happened for the Amaravati, you can see over here that the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act was passed in 2014. All right, where the bifurcation of the state had been done, and the Hyderabad had to serve as a common capital for both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Then in 2014 itself, there was Shiva Ramakrishnan report. Again, it is very important because such kind of reports had been asked in the prelims examination. So over here, it had recommended decentralization and also opposed Vijayawada and Guntur capital in 2014. Then there was Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority Act that was passed in 2014, and it established an authority for the Amaravati development. Later on, the foundation stone was laid down in 2015 by the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, at Udandharayunipalayam. All right, and later on, Decentralization Act was passed in 2020 that proposed that there will be three capitals, but later on, because of the intervention of the High Court of Andhra Pradesh, this was repealed. And Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Amendment Act had been passed recently by the Parliament in 2026, that again it recognizes Amaravati as the sole permanent capital of Andhra Pradesh. Now, when it comes to the key facts, these are certain key facts that you may remember, although they are not necessary. When it comes to the total development area of the Amaravati capital region, it will be 217 kilometers. Then the total committed investment, that is by the union as well as Andhra Pradesh state government, that would be about 65,000 crore rupees. At the same time, World Bank Integrated Urban Development approval had been provided in December 2024, and it pledges $800 million of investment in Amaravati region, and the land pooled that was there from the farmers. There are about 25,000 farmers. They have pooled under the land pooling system 33,000 acres of the land for the development of the Amaravati capital region, and also the targeted population by 2050 as per the master plan is 3.5 million, and the planned jobs that will be created by 2050 will be 1.5 million. These are the key stakeholders when it comes to the Amaravati capital region. There are farmers who have pooled their land for the development of Amaravati as the capital. At the same time, there is government of Andhra Pradesh, and over here the nodal authority for development of Amaravati would be Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority. Alright, and at the same time, union government is also involved because it will be funding the infrastructure development in the region alongside with the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act obligations that are there over the union government. At the same time, World Bank and Asian Development Bank are also funding the project, and they are co-financing the climate resilient urban development that is in the region. At the same time, we have international firms like Foster Plus Partners. They have implemented or they have made the master plan. Along with this, we have Surbara Jurong, Markey and Associates, which are the international firms associated with this particular development of the capital region. And there is the opposition, we have the High Court that have upheld that there should be a capital, single capital. And again, this had been challenged in the Supreme Court as well. Now, when it comes to the social dimension of, I told you that the road map or the road ahead is not, it's not easy. So when it comes to the social dimension, what are the different social dimension to development of the Amaravati as the capital? Now, over here, we have 25,000 plus farmers, the families who have pooled their fertile agricultural land, and ultimately that have disrupted their livelihoods as well as promised the plots. They had been promised the plots in the developed region that had not yet fully materialized as right now. At the same time, the existing settlement had been bulldozed. All right, this would be a greenfield project. So ultimately they had been bulldozed, and now the settlement, the livelihoods or the people who were there, the settlements that were there is no history of it, no memory, as well as the livelihoods had been erased. At the same time, the world-class city design risks the pricing out to the local communities. Because when we talk about climate resilient architecture, when we talk about a world-class cities architecture, so ultimately the prices will be soaring high, and that will risk out the pricing out to the local communities, and affordable housing provisions are weak when it comes to the Amaravati region. Then at the same time, the World Bank program, that is Amaravati Integrated Urban Development Program, through which it has pledged the funding. Over here, it mandates skilling for women, youth, and also lower income group. And that is a positive inclusion push when it comes to the region. And also, 6+ years of the uncertainty have caused the prolonged delays that had been there, prolonged protest, and the farmer suicides had been also reported during YSR Congress Party regime. At the same time, when it comes to the economic dimension, I told you that the union and the state government will finance, and they will, infuse 65,000 crore rupees into the project. At the same time, $800 million financing will come from the World Bank, and then the private sector target for including or, raising the finance is more than $600 million. At the same time, over here, Amaravati region aims to attract IT, along with IT, information technology, finance, education and healthcare, where different smart cities will be built up, and they will be building the knowledge capital of the South India. Then there is a land pooling scheme that had been implemented, where innovative scheme it is, where there is no monetary compensation that is provided. It is alternative to the monetary acquisition, and ultimately that reduces the fiscal burden on the state for the acquiring of the property for developing the capital region. At the same time, land value capture mechanism had been planned, where the city can monetize infrastructure investment in the long-term duration. At the same time, there is delayed project, and now these delayed project, because of the political embargo that was there, that had led to sunk cost paradox. Now, what is the sunk cost paradox? There is already 9,000 crore, more than 9,000 crore that had already been spent on the region or in the region, and there is near zero utility in these 6 years. So ultimately what happens is, when a government spends All right, when the government spends and there is near zero utility, so what happens is that the government keeps on spending and the project gets delayed, the spending keeps on going on, and that creates sunk cost paradox, where there is no active or no actually utility that is provided even after spending lots of money. All right, at the same time, economic corridor synergy will be there because the Vizag Chennai Industrial Corridor nodes, they will be linked to Amaravati, and these are the economic dimensions for developing Amaravati as the capital region. Over here, we have political as well as governance dimension as well, because when it comes to the policy reversal, we have seen that because of the government reversal or because of the election. So after election, there is a policy reversal, and that creates the democratic stability or instability, not stability, that had been seen in the Amaravati capital region. At the same time, the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority had been weakened. All right, there was a law that was passed in 2020, and that had, reconstituted the APCRDA authority. And ultimately, that had weakened. Again, the institutional continuity was broken, and it is now that Chandrababu Naidu is again the chief minister that this continuity has been taken a form, and now we can see that Amaravati is being developed as the capital again. At the same time, the three capital plan was declared legally untenable by the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and it has also created a failure in governance. At the same time, the no long-term statutory guarantee for the capital permanence and the opacity in the land pooling system, land return timelines, that have to be taken care of in this particular region. Now, when it comes to the reforms, what kind of reforms could be there? Now, World Bank program, it mandates that there will be accountable city management as well as citizen participation. That is a welcome step. At the same time, when it comes to the APCRDA, after the development of the Amaravati as the capital, this should completely transition to a fully urban local body with the elections that should happen over here. It should be a proper urban local body. At the same time, there is a need for the capital permanence law so that we can insulate this complete development from any kind of the politics that is there. And ultimately, cooperative federalism model is required, or it is very important while seeking or seeing Amaravati to be developed as a capital, because there would be both the partnership of the state as well as the union that will be there. And there is a transparency that should be maintained in fund utilization that is very critical for the trust in the investors. Now, when it comes to the environmental dimension of this particular project, what things need to be taken care of, or what will happen when we are developing Amaravati as the capital? Now, this complete region is a fertile region, and now we are developing it as a concrete model. So ultimately, what will happen is that the fertile Krishna Delta farmland, which is the rice bowl of Andhra Pradesh, that will get converted into concrete, and ultimately that is an irreversible ecological loss that we will face while developing Amaravati. At the same time, the site lies in the floodplain region of Krishna River, and the master plan that was developed originally in 2015, it lacks adequate flood management or resilience plan in the main plans. Alright, at the same time, World Bank funding explicitly, it mandates that there should be a climate resilient infrastructure in the place and green mobility integration, the greenfield city that we are building. So there are chances to embed the sustainable development goals aligned urbanism. And when I'm saying that SDG aligned urbanism, so that will mean that there will be net zero design, there will be renewable energy grids that will be there, and that gives the opportunity while developing Amaravati as the capital. At the same time, global urbanism are shifting towards low carbon and water sensitive cities that the original Amaravati plan lacks. So that is, again, it is very important that we should redesign the plan and make it not a concrete based plan, but also we should focus upon blue and green type of the project or the capital that should be built while we are building Amaravati region. At the same time, when it comes to ethics and governance, so over here these are certain dimensions that the farmers, they gave the land in the good faith, all right, for developing Amaravati. But after 6 years delay, where they are, They have not got the plots which had been promised to them. So there is betrayal of the public trust. There is ethical obligation of the state to fulfill that promises. At the same time, the 3 capital decision imposed was without adequate consultation with the farmer communities, and again that violates the participatory governance norms that should be there. At the same time, who is accountable for the wastage of this more than 9,000 crore rupees that had been invested, already spent with minimal output? So there is no institutional accountability mechanism that is there, that should be there. All right. And at the same time, there should be, when we are talking about the concrete, I told you that we will be covering the complete fertile farmland with the concrete, and ultimately that will deny the future generation their agriculture heritage as well as ecological base, and using capital city as the political football that violates the long-term public interest, and ultimately the capital, it should be must, or it is must above any kind of the partition politics that should be there in the region or in the country as well. Now, we can connect these dots for the UPSC as well. Now, when it comes to the Constitution, we have Article 3 that gives that lays down the State Reorganization Act. All right, and according to it, the state can be reorganized and the ultimate power vests with the union government. We have Article 243Q as well that relates with the urban local bodies. The 74th Amendment that provided the constitutional basis to these urban local bodies, and also the AP Reorganization Act of 2014 is must to go through. At the same time, when it comes to the government schemes, you must, this is important because you must go through these schemes. That is Smart Cities Mission. There is Amrut 2.0. There is PM Gati Shakti. Along with this, we have National Urban Policy Framework that you must go through for the prelims examination. At the same time, we must know that there is World Bank 800 million that had been pledged in December 2024, and this complete project, it deals with sustainable cities, and that comes under Sustainable Development Goal number 11. At the same time, you must go through these, these are the court judgments that in the 2021 Andhra Pradesh High Court is struck down the 3 capital law. The Supreme Court is right now reviewing. It is very important, and let's see when this judgment will come forward. The Supreme Court right now is reviewing the land rights of the pooled farmers, and also Land Acquisition Act of 2013 is very, very important. That lays down the criteria for the fair compensation. At the same time, Niti Aayog Ease of Living Index is important for us. Then World Bank Urban Development Report, and then we have to see when it comes to the current affairs. So any kind of central and state fiscal federalism, 16th Finance Commission report, and even India's urbanization to 950 million by 2050, that has to be seen, or that has to be kept in mind while you are preparing for the UPSC. All right, now what is the way forward for the Amaravati development or the capital development in Andhra Pradesh? So there has to be a revision of the master plan. The 2000 blueprint that should be revised, and along with this we must include the climate resilient, low carbon, hybrid, work ready urban designs. At the same time, the farmer justice should be the first one. All right, when it comes to the farmers, they have provided their land, they have given up their livelihoods, so they must be prioritized, and time-bound delivery of the developed plots and livelihood support should be there for all the more than 25,000 farmers who have given their land for the development of the region. Then there should be a decentralized companion strategy where we must develop tier 2 cities also, along with development of Amaravati region, so that we can prevent all capital and all resources concentration into a single region. All right, at the same time, there should be a urban local bodies empowerment as well, where the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority, it should transition to an elected urban local body with the full 74th Amendment powers that are there. And again, there should be transparency and accountability. Real-time public dashboard should be there, where the public can see the fund utilization, the project timelines, and also when they will get, the farmers, they will get their plots delivered. All right, so that would be all in this video. But at the same time, Amaravati is not merely an urban infrastructure project. It is a profound test of the cooperative federalism, constitutional morality, as well as the sustainable development. So that would be all. But before moving ahead and before ending the session, let me tell you that we are offering you with the GS Foundation batch for the English, and this batch is also available in both Hindi as well, and in bilingual format as well. So we have the GS Foundation batch, resolution batch in English, in foundation, in bilingual and in Hindi batch as well. And if you are planning to enroll into this batch, all right, so what you can do is you can use this code BRS Live for getting the maximum discount. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Jai Hind. But do not forget to like the session, share the session with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind.